It's been a quiet transfer window. We've let a few players go who were surplus to requirements, and we've brought in a couple of players who will be no surprise to you. But we've also brought in one young boy who I think in the future is going to be a very good player. Let's go and kick some balls. Hello and welcome back to Norwich, part 23, season 4, in the Ferguson save, set in the future. And we have made a decent start to this save, and we have our first 125 points. We got that because we won the FA Cup last season against Arsenal, and by winning the FA Cup 1 year quicker than Ferguson did it, we got a bonus of 25 points. So that gives us at the moment a total of 125 points out of a possible 1,000. So we are on course. And today we start a brand new season, season 4, and in our first game of the season, we will be at home to Burnley, a game that we should be winning. And I'm really hoping that it is going to be a very good start to the season. But before we do anything else today, let's go and have a look at the season review for last year. It was a good season, but not a great season. So let's have a look at how the new arrivals got on for last season. And there weren't many, there were only 5 new arrivals, but Belmonte had a good season. Coming in as the DLP, he only played 21 times, 8 from the bench, but he got 1 goal and 3 assists, and he was very reliable at the base of the midfield with a 7.9. Lee didn't perform as well as I would have liked him to. 39 appearances. He did get 4 goals, but only a 6.96. Matic, who came in on loan from Liverpool on the wing, wasn't, in my opinion, a great success, only coming out with a 6.91. Liverpool think the world of him. I'm not sure he's that good a player. Hossoya, he got better as the season went on, making 45 appearances in all, 20 off the bench, scoring 7 goals and getting 9 assists. I thought he was better than his 6.91 rating, and so he deserves a second chance in this team. And then Muntin, who came in from Dortmund on loan. He played 44 times, mostly at fullback, 1 goal, 2 assists, only a 6.83. It's something that we have to look at, is the right back position. And in terms of the results, it was a very good Premier League. In all fairness, we were expected to record a top half finish. We did that. We didn't make it finally into the Champions League. I don't think, given the amount of games that we had to play, that the squad was strong enough to be able to do that. But finishing in 5th means we qualify for the Europa League, and we will have a chance in that competition. And that's really what we need to focus on in the Ferguson save next, is winning a European trophy within the next couple of years. And so we'll have a pretty good chance in the Europa League. Results-wise, it was an okay season. Nothing spectacular seems to pop out in terms of form in the league, but we did well. We finished in 5th. Can't complain. In the Champions League, we were knocked out in the quarter-final by Newcastle. We were unlucky in the end, but they were just too strong for us, and so maybe that's best left for another year. And then in the FA Cup, we won the FA Cup to complete the first part of the Ferguson challenge. And we beat Arsenal in extra time with Wilden's worldie. And what a goal that was. A goal good enough to grace any cup final. And in the Carabao Cup, it wasn't very good. Newcastle again were the team that beat us in the Carabao Cup. We lost in the 4th round. But it was a very good season overall, winning our first trophy, and we can't really complain. In terms of moments to remember, a 5-0 victory over Grimsby in the FA Cup was the one that the fans liked the best. But we also had a really good victory. The match to remember was a victory against Bayern Munich in the Champions League by 2-1. And then the goal of the season, I believe, was from Kitambala in the FA Cup against Sheffield United, although I think that Wilden's goal in the FA Cup must have been goal of the season. But the fans decided it was going to go to Kitambala. In terms of the finances, the reputation has not changed and there have been no deals. Looking at the finances, it all looks very good to me. Broadcast revenue has gone down again, which doesn't surprise me because it always does seem to. No matter how successful you get, you seem to get a lower amount of broadcast revenue. But everything else is increasing, and financially we look very good. We sold 208,000 shirts, and Hosoya, funnily enough, came out on top. Quite a surprise that. I was expecting that to be Wilden, but then Puk, Wilden, Fortes and Zapropoulos made up the top 5. Looking at the team, it does look like on paper we have a very good, strong team. But I do feel that we have problems at right back, we have problems at right wing, and we do need a striker up front as a backup for Lewis Wilden. Those are the 3 positions I think that we need to focus on as we go into the transfer window this year. But overall, it was a very good team performance, as you can see. And in terms of the accolades, I only actually got 1 Premier League Manager of the Month award. That was for December. And Zapropoulos was the Fans Player of the Year. He had an excellent season. And also the Young Player of the Season. Signing of the season was Francisco Belmonte. I think he needs to play more next season and be the person at the base of that midfield. Prince Kitambala scored the goal of the season, as we know. And Lewis Wilden, again, was the top goal scorer with 34 goals. Zapropoulos was our top assists with 23, and Wilden won the most player of the match awards, getting 6. Jay Neal had the highest average rating with 7.3, 21-year-old attacking mid. He's going to be a very, very good player. And then Andrade Silva was the best pass completion with 84. Competition awards, 21-year-old Jay Neal got the European Golden Boy Award, which is an absolutely fabulous achievement for the young lad, and I hope he's going to go on and make a big success of himself here at Norwich. And record breakers, Zapropoulos broke the record with 23 assists, and now the most goals scored by a player for Norwich ever is Lewis Wilden. He has now 139 goals. And so it was a good season. It wasn't a great season, but we have got European football again, and we do need to strengthen the team in those 3 positions that we have noted. However, the transfer window doesn't always work out the way that you want it to. So I think now we should get on with the transfer window, and we'll be right back with news as it arrives. And the good news is that even though we finished in 5th place and qualified for the Europa League initially, Newcastle went on to win the Champions League. And what that meant was we were promoted into the Champions League. I'm not sure if that's good news or bad news. It would have been easier for us to win the Europa League rather than the Champions League, but it's always nice for the players to be in the Champions League, and it did mean that a number of them chose to stay. So let's have a look at what happened in the transfer window so far. And starting with the players who have left the club, we have obviously let a number of young players go out on loan, but there were a number of squad players who also left the club. Andy Hillman, striker, right winger, never making the grade. He went out to Wigan on a free. And Robin Bertrand, 32 years old, deep-lying playmaker, 1 year left on his contract. We decided it was probably best not to extend his contract, so we sold him to Wolves for £4.3 million. I thought that was a pretty good deal for someone who was just intent on running his contract down this year. And then finally, our backup goalkeeper, Randolph Hunt. He had been telling me for a long time that he wanted to leave, he wanted to get more game time. We let him go in the end. Watford came in with a bid of 6.75 million, and so we decided now is the time to let him go. And so in terms of transfers out, not a lot of activity, and that's the way I actually wanted it. I wanted to try and keep this squad together for at least 1 more year to see if we could improve upon what we did last season. But we did have holes to fill in the squad, and we have filled them. And we decided in the end, because the fans wanted both Muntin and Matic to be part of the squad, we decided to bring them in. Muntian, who was on loan from Dortmund last season, we decided he'd done enough to fill the vacant right back slot and also to provide cover as a central defender. And so we brought him in eventually from Dortmund for £18 million. And then we brought in our other loanee from last season, Matic from Liverpool. We paid a lot of money from him. Liverpool think the world of him. He can either play as a central midfielder or he can play as an inverted winger. We did have a problem with the winger on this side. We only had Zapropoulos, and now we have two of them, which I hope will give us more depth in this position. We also have Zakarioka, who can cover in at right wing. And he is a very highly thought of player, and I'm hoping for very big things for him this year. He's cost us a lot of money. I need him to start paying it back. And then our final signing was we needed to find a striker. Not for immediate needs, but Wilden now, who's getting on for 30, he will at some point start declining. And we brought in Atef Meliti from Paris Saint-Germain. He looks like he could develop into a very, very good player. He is just 22 years old, plenty of years left in him. And I hope that he will provide very good cover for Wilden up front. He's a very determined young lad. He's got very good technique, good first touch, and he can dribble, and he has blistering pace. I'm really hoping that he will become our number one striker in the future. And so it has been a quiet transfer window. We have spent £60 million, and I don't know if these are the right decisions that we've made. It certainly made the fans happy when we brought in those two loanees, and I think Meliti is going to be a fine signing for the future. We have no money left now. We just have £3 million left in the transfer budget. And we do have 140,000 left in the wage budget. I don't think it's my intention to sign any more players before this window is out, but we do have two players who probably need new contracts, and we are thinking about giving Kitambala. He has asked for a new contract and I declined it, but I'm thinking perhaps Kitambala, it's time for him to have a new contract. And Jay Neal, I don't want to lose Jay Neal, so we are probably going to offer him a brand new contract as well. This will raise morale, and then hopefully we will start the season really well rather than having two disappointed players in the squad. Looking at our current injuries, we just have one player out at the moment. That's Clark Pook. He does have a history of getting these minor injuries. He's going to be out for a day or two. He's probably going to miss the Burnley game, but he will be back very shortly. And then finally, before the season begins, there was the matter of the Community Shield, and we were up against our old foe, Manchester City. But it did work out very nicely indeed, and we won the Community Shield. We played the way that we played against Arsenal in the cup final, frustrating them, short passing, holding our shape. They never really got into the game, and it was a 9th-minute goal from Wilden that enabled us to win the Charity Shield. So that was a very good start to the season. I don't think Manchester City would take that competition very seriously, but I did. I wanted morale up. I wanted us to make a good start to the season. And now we are at home to Burnley. I want us to build on our Community Shield performance, get an even better start to the season. Let's go and kick some balls. And so the team for today in the opening game of the season is Götze in goal, with Muntian, Silva, Reguan and Allen at the back, Belmonte, Fortes and Zapropoulos in midfield, with Hosoya deputising for the injured Pook, Kitambala and Wilden up front. This is a game we have to win. I will not be very pleased if we don't win this. We haven't made too many changes to the team. It's the team that finished the season very well. It's the team that pretty much won the Community Shield. And we are favourites here for a reason. We should be winning this comfortably. I have faith in you boys. Go out there, make a difference. Let's win this opening football match. Let's get ourselves a good start here. And at the moment, it is still Norwich 0, Burnley 0. It's pretty even. We've had the better of the possession, though. We've just got to make sure that we create enough chances and that then we take our chances. Burnley are very pacey, and we have to beware of their counter-attack. And they're also going to play a low block, I think. Burnley do play with this low block. They're going to try and defend and keep us out. It's up to us to try and break their defence, pass it around. We're playing with a shorter passing style today. It served us well in the Community Shield. We are in and we've hit the crossbar, but it has gone in. Hossoya has made it 1-0, but the referee is going to check for offside. I have a funny feeling it's going to be disallowed. He might have been standing in an offside position when the ball was played into the box. But the goal is awarded. It was... I don't know how Burnley didn't clear that once it hit the crossbar. Muntean found Kitambala, and Hossoya and Wildham were in space all alone in the 6-yard box and tapped it in. Hossoya has got himself a goal right at the beginning of the season, and it's a great start for Norwich. It's Norwich 1, Burnley 0. We do have another free kick, and it finds its way to Silva. Silva's on a yellow card already, and maybe what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell the boys not to get stuck in, maybe just to stay on their feet. That will also help us with their pace. We have 2 players at the back who are on yellow cards, and that's always a bit worrying. And Allen, who is one of them, has the ball, trying to feed it down the left to Hossoya, but can't. Hossoya, who's one of the smallest players I've ever signed, he didn't really want to get involved in that tackle. And we are playing it out from the back, and here is Fortes. Fortes finds Hossoya. Hossoya to Fortes. Fortes finds Reguan. Reguan to Fortes. Allen. This is nice football. We're passing it around, and by reducing the tempo against Manchester City, it seemed to work. It's working here against Burnley. Zapropoulos is in space. We've hit the crossbar again, but this time there's no one there to tap it in. It comes all the way out to Allen, and the highlight comes to an end. It still remains Norwich 1, Burnley 0. We are winning our opening game so far, but we need more goals, and we need to make it 2-0 before half-time. And we are doing well, though we need to just keep attacking. We're doing all the attacking, and we do have the ball. Allen's bursting into the box, into the middle. It's gone, and the goalkeeper has made a save. It was bobbling about there, and somehow the goalkeeper managed to keep that out. Burnley are defending for their lives at the moment. They're carrying little attacking threat, and we are winning everything in midfield. We're creating chances, but we just can't find that finishing touch. And it's still Norwich 1, Burnley 0. This is the start I wanted. Put pressure on Burnley. They finished 17th in the league last season. They're not the greatest team in the Premier League, and we should be winning games like this. We just need to keep going. Let's get another goal. Be careful about Burnley on the counter-attack. And at the moment it remains still Norwich 1, Burnley 0. Hossoya's goal is still the difference between the two teams. I need to get more out of these players. I need to maybe get a little bit more out of them somehow, because at the moment we're not really taking our chances. And I think what I'll do is, I think we're doing well, but we can find another gear. Your defensive work, keep going. You have the ability to do it. And I think I'll tell that to all of them. And I'm going to tell the attackers, you've not been good enough in front of goal. You need to do better. And at the moment it's still Norwich 1, Burnley 0. And we're coming up to 50 minutes now. We do have another corner. Hossoya fires in the corner, and it's headed away. It comes out, headed back in. Is bobbling around there. Andrade Silva looks for Reguan. He finds Allen. Allen with a pot shot, and John Allen has made it 2-0 with a curling drive into the corner. That's a strange one. You don't see John Allen scoring many goals, but what a strike that was. He found himself in space, very little option, so he put his foot through it. It's now Norwich 2, Burnley 0. This is a good start. We're getting to the point where I need to be looking for tired players, where we need to be thinking about making some changes. And Burnley are looking to bring the ball out. They are looking to get an attack in, but we're well organised at the back today for a change. But here come Burnley. They are in. They are going to score. It's a good save from Gotts. And again, we've defended that well. But I think now it is time to make some changes here. And so we have made 3 changes. Zapropoulos was very tired. He was out on his feet. We've changed the fullbacks just to give us more legs on the flanks. And so hopefully we'll be able to hold Burnley out, as Burnley will look to counter-attack us. And there's a ball over the top looking for Wilden. Wilden normally has these for breakfast, but unfortunately he can't put it away. And the goalkeeper's made a very good save at the feet of Wilden. Not Wilden's day today, but it is Norwich's day by the look of it. And here is Silva. Silva, I'm really hoping he has a good season this year, him and Reguan. We need that expertise from them at the back. We need their experience to keep us calm at the back. And so far so good. As new signing Kamara, he looks for Matic. Matic finds Sutherland into Silva for Fortes. I did actually forget to mention that we had brought in Kamara, a right back. And there's a chance, and Wilden has got his goal. It is now 3-0. Hosoya has put it away. And it is now Norwich 3, Burnley 0. Hosoya down the left. A perfect cross. And Wilden doing what Wilden does. And in the box, and like the predator he is, it's now Norwich 3, Burnley 0. I did, yes, forget to mention that we had brought in a young fullback, Kamara, and he is definitely one for the future. He did want to be a regular starter, but we've brought him in. As long as Muntian is here, he's prepared to be a squad player. He's a good fullback, and we're looking for big things from him. Didn't cost us a lot of money, and so he's really one for the future, I hope. But he is a good player, and hopefully he will do very well for us as Burnley look to bear down on goal. And it's still Norwich 3, Burnley 0. I wonder, is it time to make some more changes now? This game has a lot of highlights in it, and Burnley are definitely not finished yet. And I do fancy they might get one back if we don't actually do something. And I think what I will do is I'll drop down to a more balanced way, and I will actually go and make some more changes now. But we'll wait for this highlight as Silva finds Sutherland to Kamara. Kamara back to Silva, who is still on a yellow card, and it does worry me that, as well as John Allen, who's having a fabulous game today. Silva's having a great game today. I don't really want to take them off, but we need to tell them maybe to ease off the tackles a little bit, and the same will go for Silva. I don't want any of them getting sent off today. I want us just to see this game out now and take the 3 points. We will hopefully be top of the league if we can keep this scoreline. We will stay top of the league, but we can't keep this scoreline. I knew that something was going to happen. I did call it a few minutes ago, and I felt that Burnley would get one back. We'll take a 3-1. It's still a good start to the season. They are a pacey team. They do counter-attack at speed, and we've just gone off the boil a little bit, and I think they need to focus a little bit. So what I will do is I will go and make some changes now. And so we have made our final changes, and hopefully it's enough now. I'm going to actually fire them up a little bit. We need to be much more aggressive in how we're playing. We're not the most aggressive team in the league, and we need to just wake them up a little bit as Wilden bursts through, and Wilden can't put it away. He fires it past the post. It should be much more than 3-1. We haven't really taken our chances. We've been poor up front, to be fair. And if we can get another goal, though, it is possible still to go top of the league after game number 1. but we need that other goal. And here's Hossoya. Hossoya's having an absolutely fabulous game. Reguan, he finds John Allen. John Allen back to Reguan. Reguan to Jay Neal. Neal on back to Reguan. It's lovely football. We're passing it around nicely. We don't want to be holding on to it too much, though, in our own half. But here is Lee. Lee finds Sutherland. Sutherland over the top to Hossoya. Hossoya finds Wilden, and that is a combination that looks very good today. But again, Wilden couldn't put it away. But again, we are trying to build from the back. And here is Hossoya again. Hossoya to Wilden. What a combination that looks like at the moment. But unfortunately, Wilden can't get on to the end of it. I think we just need to close this game down now. I think rather than be attacking, we've made an absolute howler of a mistake. And it is now 3-2. And this is not acceptable. And I'm not quite sure where Burnley are getting these goals from, but this is not acceptable, and we need to tell the team that this is not acceptable, and it's possible their work rate has dropped here. They've become complacent. I need to demand more from them. This is really poor now, and I am not happy. I'm feeling unhappy, and if we let this game slip, I will not be a happy manager. At the moment, we're still in second place. Burnley have given us a game, and it is now third place. And I'm really not happy. And I'm going to tell them at full time I'm not happy with how they've played, especially the defence. They went to sleep in the second half. This is not acceptable. We got away with that today. It was not good enough. And for a team that's been together with very few changes, that simply was not good enough. However, a win is a win, and we've got off to a very good start. And so, we've got away with one there, but it is a positive opening to the season. I'm not intending to do any business in the transfer window. I have no money left, and unless one of my big name players goes out, nothing will happen as we go through the rest of August. We just need to focus on winning games, and that was not good enough. And so we'll be back in September. The Champions League probably will have started. The transfer window will be over, and we will be looking at playing our first game in the Champions League. Hopefully we will also be in a good place in the Premier League. And so that's it for this video. If you are brand new to the channel, you like FM content, and you love to see people suffer playing this game, you're in the right place. So why not subscribe, like, watch, comment, help the channel to grow, help us to support the very worthwhile cause you can see scrolling up above. This channel has been set up to support the British Heart Foundation. I'm fairly content. We've won the Community Shield and we've won our opening game of the season, even if it wasn't a very good performance. All that remains to be said now is stay safe, take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.